Ya yo, everyone. Dr. Jace Attorney here with whatever the hell this is. I'm just kind of spitballing here at this point, but we're here to deep dive some of the details that we know about Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. Just a new format of video that I want to try out for a game that I'm very, very much interested in. And basically, this video is going to be structured as kind of like a deep dive on everything that we know so far about Metal Gear Solid Delta. So we're gonna get into the nitty gritty of things. And if you want to see more videos like this, you know, be sure to like, be sure to subscribe, click that dumbbell, click the dumbbell. It helps a lot more than you know. And hell, leave your thoughts down below. What do you guys want from a potential Metal Gear Solid 3 remake? Well, potential. It's real. It's coming. So what do you want from the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake? So one thing I decided to do, I used VGC as my source. I mean, you could find these everywhere, like on IGN, GameSpot, any gaming news outlet worth its salt is definitely covering information like this. I just chose VGC because it was the easiest one to do, and it had present all the information that I was aware about the game, you know, ready for like articles, you know, just plastered on the screen, and we could go into details and what our expectations are with what exactly is being said at certain points. So Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. I know some people were kind of confused by the whole name change. Like, why is it called Metal Gear Solid Triangle? Like, what does that mean? Is it a Kojima play, even though Kojima's not involved with this? So what exactly is going on with this, right? So they practically confirmed that this game, which is super cool, you know, Metal Gear Solid Delta is going to release on PS5, Series X and S, and PC. That's actually really important. For the last several years, despite the PS5 and Xbox Series X, debuting in 2021, I believe? Yeah, 2021. Games have still been releasing on last gen systems. So like, you know, your Xbox One, your PS4, for the most part. Not every game has, but for the most part, games have been releasing on the same last gen systems as the current gen ones. And there's an argument to be had where, because games are still doing that, you know, devs, because they're developing for last gen consoles and next gen ones, it's kind of holding them back from, I guess, taking full advantage of a next-gen console, or at this point, a current-gen console. So the fact that this game's releasing on PS5 and Series X, whenever the hell that is, we don't have a release date either. As a note, we do not have a release date for this game. Coming to PS5, not even soon, okay? It is coming, so don't worry, it's coming, but whenever the hell that is, we'll figure that out later, but it ain't coming anytime soon. So it's basically confirmed, yes, it is coming to PS5 and Xbox Series X and PC. So no last gen system. It's like one of those things where it's like, hey, this is the time to upgrade. People are moving on to the current gen systems. So if you want to play the new Metal Gear Solid remake, be sure to get a next gen console or just get a PC. Simple as that. But okay, so we have that. Konami describes the title as a faithful remake. A new generation of players and loyal fans alike can experience the origin story of the famed Big Boss and witness how his legend was forged in the crucible of Operation Snake Eater. So pretty much what we know so far, right? It's a remake of Snake Eater. There's no, you know, twists or turns or anything crazy like that. It is beat for beat a remake of Snake Eater. The reason why I wanted to open this article is to just explain the whole Delta symbol. They said right here, we are making Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, one of the most beloved installments of the Metal Gear series, revealing the origin story of Snake as Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. Actually, wait, no. Faithful recreation of the original story. Here it is, right here. Bam. Oh, oops. My beat. Right here. Metal Gear Official. You have it right here. The Delta symbol was chosen because its meaning fits the concept of the remake project. Delta means change or difference without changing structure. So basically, it's a way for, I guess, you know, the people behind Metal Gear Solid, Konami, to reassure fans they're going to be very faithful to this remake. They're not going to try and do anything too different from the game outside of, you know, making it look really pretty, making it very presentable, 2025 styled game, maybe 2024, who knows. But that's to let you know, like, hey, it's different. It may have somewhat new things to introduce into the series, but overall, it's the same game at its core. It's the same game that you loved. So that's why they chose the Delta symbol. As to if they're gonna keep using, you know, symbols to explain all this other stuff afterwards, we'll have to wait and see. I don't know if Metal Gear Solid 1 will be Metal Gear Solid Square or something. I don't know. Which, by the way, I don't even think we have an article that's opened on that yet, but we may look it up. But there is something about the future of Metal Gear Solid depending on how well this game does. So that'll be something that we'll dig into. I'm hoping I can actually pull up the article itself, but if we can't, we can't. Just trust my word on it. I wouldn't lead you guys astray. I would not put out false or, you know, fake information. No fake news here. No fake news. All right. So that's the meaning of the Delta symbol. Let's go over to the Metal Gear Solid collection. Now, obviously, this is Volume 1 of the Metal Gear Solid collection, implying that there is going to be a Volume 2, potentially a Volume 3. There's going to be more than one, is the point that this is getting here. As to what the other entries will have, no one knows. Now, I have seen some people's, like, little fan entries on Twitter, where they're basically saying, you know, ooh, wouldn't it be cool if Volume 2 had, like, MGS4, Portable Ops, and I don't know, Peace Walker, maybe. Who knows? But one interesting thing that I think Konami did a bit of a piss poor job in explaining, or at least being transparent on, is that these are not the only games that are in Volume 1 of the collection. These are not the only ones. The Volume 1 collection includes, right here, the original Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2. So in essence, for Volume 1, which comes out, I believe, in August of 2023, or was it the fall? It says the fall/autumn of 2023. So, yeah, it includes Metal Gear, Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, Metal Gear Solid, including the VR missions and special missions. That's actually pretty cool. That's something that, you know, people want to play. Not everyone's been able to play the VR missions. And then the original versions of Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty and Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. And they made a point to note that this is the HD collection version of those games. Which, by the way, there is a Metal Gear Solid HD collection where it only includes Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3. And I think there's like an upgraded HD collection that has those two games plus Peace Walker. So that's the only reason why it says HD collection version right there. But I feel like that was important to note. Volume 1, even though they're not shown here, I'm guessing because, like, the box art is not as cool as the first 3 games from the Solid series. So that's just to note, you're getting 5 games in Volume 1. Metal Gear 1 and 2, and Solid 1 through 3. It does kind of suck that they're not releasing the I guess you could call it definitive versions of Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3. For those that are not in the know, Sons of Liberty and Snake Eater were the original versions of 2 and 3 that released. And then, whether it was a couple months or a year or two later, they released updated versions of the game called Metal Gear Solid 2 Substance, I believe it was called Substance, and then Metal Gear Solid 3 Subsistence. So it's a shame that Konami doesn't want to put those in there. Some of those missions were actually kind of funny. I think in Subsistence for Metal Gear Solid 3, I think they were like random missions where, like, you could play as Snake and he's trying to capture, like, the apes from Ape Escape. It's like, what? Like, why are we doing this? It's fun and funny, but, you know, I believe that's only in Subsistence, so we're not getting stuff like that in this collection. Also, for Sons of Liberty, when it comes to Metal Gear Solid Substance, I believe Substance was the one that had that weird Tony Hawk Pro skating mini game where you could play as Solid Snake and Raiden, and you're skateboarding at, like, a big shell, skate park. It's so weird. I'm pretty sure that was in Substance. But yeah, it's a little a shame that they're not going to be releasing those versions. Oh, also very important to note, for this collection, it includes the classic versions of the games, complete with minimal edits to copyrighted content, according to the product listing. I know that's a point of contention for some people. Not too long ago, about like maybe a year ago, Konami pulled Sons of Liberty and Snake Eater, the HD versions of those games, off of digital storefronts. And it was mainly because of copyrighted content that they had to remove. From what I understand, it was mostly historical footage that was used in those games. In particular, Snake Eater, because Snake Eater uses a lot of historical footage to, describe the Cuban Missile Crisis, the Cold War, a lot of that 60s era type of political propaganda. So they've removed not all of it, but there's just some of it that they got rid of and had to make edits to. So they made a point to note, hey, by the way, this version of Volume 1, it's going to have those edited scenes in the game. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Again, even though I want the original Metal Gear Solid 3 presented as is, the historical stock footage, as long as they at least show something to represent those scenes, I'll be okay with it. I just don't want it to be like a black screen while someone's talking, and then it's like, oh, this is where we would see like a Panzer tank from World War II rolling in or something. I don't know. But that's something to note for sure. So that's what we have on Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1. Let me know what you all want for Volume 2, essentially. Do you guys want some of the portable games in a Volume 2? Do you want some of the spin-off games like Metal Gear Solid Acid, Revengeance? For those that remember, Ghost Babel, y'all want a Ghost Babel collection? I mean, there's only one game in Ghost Babel, and it would just be for the Game Boy Color. But, I mean, this is cool that they at least gave fans hope that, hey, this is Volume 1. Depending on people's reaction to it, we'll release more. So, that's really cool. I like that. So, Volume 1's going to have those 5 games, and we're excited for that. Here's a point of contention that I feel like people have not been talking about a lot. There was some confusion on how Konami worded this. But essentially, there was a big hype where when they announced the game, it basically meant that they were going to hire the original cast again to reprise their roles and do, the voiceover work. More or less having the same lines and whatnot, but it's going to be new dialogue recorded for a new game. That is not the case here. They pretty much confirmed Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater will reuse the original game's voice lines. Konami is not planning to record any new dialogue for the remake. So, Konami said it will star the original voice actors, rich storyline, and expansive features of combat, survival, and blah, 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 blah. So, basically, this right here, star the original voice actors. Because they said that, it obviously implied that, oh my god, David Hayter's coming back as Solid Snake. He hasn't played Solid Snake since 2014. All right, wait, no, not 2014. When did Peace Walker come out? Wasn't that David Hayter's last time as Solid Snake? I have no idea. 2010, 2011, something like that. But either way, people got excited. They're like, all right, our boy is back. Not necessarily the case. It's a half-truth, right? He is, in a way, coming back, but he's not re-recording any lines. They're just going to reuse the lines that are in, essentially, the original game and basically copy-paste it onto the remake, and they'll reanimate certain scenes, I imagine, to match those lip syncs for lines being said. That kind of sucks. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, again, it is in its purest form Metal Gear Solid 3. It has the same dialogue that we all like and everything. But I feel like with a remake, especially one as hyped as Metal Gear Solid 3, I feel like it wouldn't hurt to just have some of the actors reprise their roles and re-record lines. These actors have been growing for the last several years, and they've gotten better with delivery, with just voice acting in general. I feel like that's something really important to showcase when it comes to voice acting. And someone like David Hayter, I mean, we love his Snake from what? This game came out like in 2005 or 4, the original Snake Eater. It's been 15, it's been like 18 years? I don't know. This man, I want to see how his Snake is in a new remake. That would have been really cool. Now, here's something to note. Unless plans change, this seemingly rules out the original voice actors returning to record any new dialogue. So, also being co-developed with Virtuos, as originally reported by BGC. So, again, with that, I mean, there's a chance, but it's not a big one. There's a chance that even though they're reusing the old dialogue lines from the original Metal Gear Solid, it's possible that they'll go out of their way to maybe have the VAs record new lines to have like little extra tidbits here and there where a character says something new or interesting or whatever. But it's likely not gonna happen. We all know Konami at the end of the day. Konami, as much as we love the Metal Gear Solid series, let's not kid ourselves. Konami is a snake in the grass. Oh, how appropriate. How appropriate for what we're talking about. My goodness, they're a real snake eater, huh? But yeah, they're in this for the quick buck. They know it's gonna sell, make the graphics really pretty, and just reuse old assets. Why spend money to hire new voice lines or new voiceovers from these VAs? I think it sucks. I think that they should come back, but we'll see. Right now, as of the timing of the release of this video, there's no confirmation that the VAs will be coming back to re-record their old lines or give any new ones. Last but not least, our boy Hideo Kojima. He's not involved with this project, unfortunately. Hideo Kojima isn't involved in Metal Gear Solid 3's remake, Konami confirms. Now, I'm not going to get into the weed of things when it comes to this, even though I know the whole spiel about, you know, Konami and Kojima and just their very, very toxic spat and their end of a relationship in the gaming industry. Obviously all on Konami's end. Like that, what Konami did to Kojima, I feel like the internet should never forget, because it was just outright unprofessional in so many different ways what they did to this man. This man, I mean, Hideo Kojima, Metal Gear Solid is his bread and butter. That is his baby, okay? Without Hideo Kojima, you do not get the Metal Gear Solid that you love. I love Snake Eater. I don't get Snake Eater without this man, okay? So I have to give him props where props is due. Now, if it wasn't obvious when this game was announced, you know, for Delta, there was no way Kojima was involved. There was no way Kojima was involved. And, you know, considering that Konami left him on bad terms, I don't blame the guy. I think even on the same day on Twitter, he basically posted like him eating like something fried or something on the same day as this announcement. And I'm like, wow, how appropriate. You know what? Kudos to you. Kudos to you, Kojima. Not even giving a rat's ass about, oh, they announced a remake for MGS3? Oh yeah. I'm gonna keep eating over here. Like, I don't know. I find that hilarious. But right here, instead, Konami confirmed, as originally reported by that Virtuos would be helming the remake as well as an internal team of Konami developers. So that's actually really good. They're not outsourcing this to anyone for a cheap buck either. They are really focusing on this. They want this to actually be well. They want this to be the right remake to sell out to people, because again, Konami has dipped out of the gaming industry for quite some time, man. Like right after MGS5, they said they were dipping for like pachinko machines. Everyone remembers the pachinko machines. And they slowly started just giving out these terrible games. Like I think there was like a Contra game that came out not too long ago that was absolutely terrible. Bomberman R was like good on paper, but like it was lacking features, or it was just kind of like a one and done type of game. And yeah, just Konami's been scummy the last several years, for the better part of a decade, honestly. So for them to come back, it's good to see that, hey, they're pulling up their bootstraps and they're gonna make this game as well as it needs to be. And I'm hoping that it is. Let's see here. What else do we got here? Right here, massive public falling out between Kojima and Konami following the conclusion of Metal Gear Solid 5. We all know that, man. We all know that. While Kojima still regularly talks about Metal Gear and often retweets fan art and mentions the games during important anniversaries, he no longer has any control over the property. Obviously, because he no longer works for Konami, and the IP itself, the brand of Metal Gear Solid, is owned by Konami. So Konami describes the title as a faithful remake, blah, blah, blah. Basically the same thing as per usual. There is another article that I don't have opened here, and it's so weird. I could have sworn it was VGC that talked about it. But basically, there was another confirmation that concerning the potential that we'll get additional remakes after this. Konami basically confirmed that, we're not going to confirm anything, but let's see what the consumer says about this remake. And depending on that reaction, depending on how received it is, we'll make a move from there. Basically, a corporate PR response saying, hey, you buy our game, we'll give you more. So if Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta makes numbers, it sells well, it gets great reviews, you bet your ass we are getting a remake of Metal Gear Solid 1 and a remake of Metal Gear Solid 2. Absolutely. And also the reason why they're starting with 3 versus Metal Gear Solid 1 as their first remake, timeline-wise, they want to go in order. For those that don't know, Metal Gear Solid 3 is a prequel that sets the stage for the rest of the series. So if they do continue to do remakes, I would imagine they would limit it to numbered entries, obviously, because if you include the spin-offs like Portable Ops and Peace Walker, we're never getting remakes of 1 and 2. It's never coming out. So likely what's going to happen, Metal Gear Solid 3 Remake comes out, sells well, does great reviews, hopefully. And based on that, Konami greenlights, all right, next up, timeline-wise, Metal Gear Solid 1. That's the next remake. Metal Gear Solid Square, let's call it that. And then Metal Gear Solid 2 Circle. And then, I don't know, Metal Gear Solid 4 is Metal Gear Solid X. All PlayStation logos, all PlayStation shapes. So we'll see. That was the last bit I wanted to talk on. Again, let me know what you guys think overall about what information we have on Metal Gear Solid. I am like 99% sure I went over every single bit of detail that we have at this moment for this remake. And anything else, any other things outside of what I discussed is either that you hear on the internet is either conjecture or rumors that people are spreading, or just, people are hopeful for additional things, and they'll say, hey, this would be cool if we saw this in Volume 2 Master Collection, or this would be cool if we saw this in the remake of Metal Gear Solid 3. But I am pretty sure I covered every single thing conceivable that we know with 100% confirmation for Metal Gear Solid 3 Remake. So super excited either way. Let me know what you all think in the comments below. What are you most excited for from the Metal Gear Solid collection? What are you excited about for Metal Gear Solid Delta? Are you kind of bummed out they're just reusing voice lines? Because again, it's fine. I mean, I'm not against it, but if it's a remake, the idea is, it's a remake from the ground up. You're just starting fresh anew, and it's like, you would think that would entail re-recording lines for better performances, even though the original ones were fantastic. Also interesting to note, FYI, Konami's still on their games a little bit. The logo for this, right? Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, Hideo Kojima's name is not on here. And I find that interesting because, again, technically, this Delta game is not being made by Kojima. I understand that. His name doesn't have to be on there. But I would hope and pray that Konami has grown as a company since 2015, which is when Metal Gear Solid 5 came out. And that's where their fallout happened. I would hope from 10 years ago they will credit this man in the credits, Hideo Kojima, something where it says original story, original direction, inspired by, I don't care. His name better be in the credits for Metal Gear Solid Delta. It better be in there. Not necessarily to say he made Delta, but you don't have Snake Eater without Kojima. So I hope Konami puts that in there. I hope they've grown since then. It's been 10 years, man. It's been 10 years, but we'll see. Let me know what you all think in the comments below. And again, if you guys want to see more videos like this, I'm more than happy to indulge in it. Just, you know, we got to see those numbers. And if the numbers are good, we'll keep it up. We'll keep giving you guys news sources like this because this is fun to do. I like talking about this. But let me know what you all think. We'll catch you on the next one. Dr. Jace Attorney signing off. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.